Okay, so today we are going to, this week in class, we worked on drawing hands. And today, for the next half hour, I am going to lead you through another quick set of drills to help you get hands a little bit better, or at least keep us practicing, okay? So the first thing that I want to talk about is just this shape right here. Okay, it has to do with a triangle, and if you add to it the shape of the thumb, okay, so let's imagine this as a triangle and that. And we just have very slight augmentations, but being able to draw that will get us started. Like this, and like this, like this, and like that. Okay, and then what we're going to do, we've been practicing this throughout the semester, we're just going to curve this end. So as you draw your triangle, and then we'll widen it like that, and we'll put this on it. Okay? And now I want you to keep in mind that the wrist comes out like that. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but it's a good exaggeration, okay? So and one of the things that's really cool to do when you're drawing hands is to connect them through with a line of action. So if you take a line of action like this, and the triangle goes like that. So it's a line of action. And the shapes follow it. So right now we're kind of practicing like the easiest part, like the easiest way that we can express a hand. Okay, and now for breaking up the fingers, for adding the fingers, really, if we're gonna, let's work with the hand in a really flat shape for a little while. So we take the hand like this, and the fingers will happen in a triangle like this, right? So we'll have triangle, pick a thumb side, and then the fingers will go there. Okay, so notice how the middle finger is further down. The pinky will come up higher. Okay, so we've got this kind of angle going on. Then we'll do a palm side. And the same, we have the same relationship. There's a kind of triangle for the fingers. That actually works really well, doesn't it? Except I was trying to draw a palm side, so to have it be a palm side, I have to show it like that. And I'll explain that in 1 second. We did go over that in class, but I'll re-reference it. Okay, so this is a kind of useful hand to be able to work with for a little bit. And now let's go a little bit further into the fingers. So one of the details about the fingers that's really cool is that, here's a middle finger, is that there's this space in between. And so the relationship of the top of the fingers is like that, okay? So it's like that. And so here's an index finger, there's the ring finger, and here's the pinky. And the pinky is really nice and short. And you want to have there be this nice space between them. And I've exaggerated it here to really kind of show it off. But it really does make the hands that you draw look good. Okay, so let's see. We'll keep on. I'm just going to start a new page of hands. Boom, but we're going to add, we're successively adding the parts that we can do now. So we start out with a triangle, and then I'm going to add another triangle to it for the thumb shape to it. And the thumb shape, if you wanted to begin with the thumb as a triangle, that's perfectly fine. Like in class, we talked about doing a hand gesture with 2 triangles, just any 2 triangles that you think of. You can. It has a kind of lobster claw. Anyway, so now we'll start to augment. We take this and have it go like that. And the initial triangle here, that becomes the space for the middle finger, okay? And then over here, that becomes the space for the little finger. And then what we want to do is we want to assert a little space between them. And it gets one step closer to a fully developed hand. There we go. That's kind of silly looking. That's better. So this is a flat hand, and there's only so much that we can learn off this, but there's a couple more little things that I'd like to show you off of this. It's the triangle. I'm just going further because of the shape of the thumb. I should have taken my initial triangle out to here, but the scale of my thumb makes me feel like I should go a lot further. Okay, so here's our kind of 2D hand, which is very useful for us. Now we're going to move into the 3D hand, and that's going to be in constant reference of this idea. There's a box shape, but that line makes it 3D. Okay, so that's the way that we look to have things get a 3D effect. And so with the hand, one of the things to consider is the thickness and general character of the main shapes. And the general character of the hand is it has a kind of squared off quality to it, especially in the palm of the hand and out through the fingers as well. So it's almost like making block letters. It almost has that effect of if you start with your basic hand shape, and that's about where the fingers will come in, and that's about where the fingers will end, okay? So from here, what you can do is you can just kind of make every shape 3D. Like if we go like this, and like that, and like that, and like that. So there's a lot of truth to this idea. And let's play with that for just a minute. We can 3D the thumb area too. Sketching around, looking for my basic hand shape. That's going to be where the fingers connect. This is something kind of important. If on the back side of the hand, the palm tends to overlap like that, the thumb. Okay, like the thumb is below the palm, the thumb is below this top plane. And so it tends to interact like that. And if it's upside down, it tends to overlap like this. Okay. So that'll just help. Like you see here, that overlap. And then this side would be overlapping like that. You'll notice it just helps. Okay. Okay. And now let's just take every shape and make it 3D. And now what we'll do, so now you can kind of, I'm assuming now you're kind of drawing a nice basic hand. It's probably working out pretty good for you. And let's see. And now what we would do is let's take each individual shape and kind of try to understand it just a little bit better. So in class, when we were drawing the thumb, one of the things that we can start our hand in the exact same way. This will be looking at the palm side of the hand. And I think I'll put the thumb here. So it's the palm side, so the overlap goes like that. Okay, and it's the thumb side, so that will go there. So the arm will want to come out from here. And the fingers in a repetition of the triangle at the end. There's a triangle, a kind of a triangle, right? And there's a triangle, a kind of a triangle. Those are just the top shape is what you'll be using there. And here's the middle finger. And then depending on the gesture that you're drawing with the other fingers, but it's nice to establish, you can just go through and establish the connection points with the space that they take up. Okay. And the thumb is the thumb, you remember how we had talked about the thumb as a drumstick, like a chicken leg, so you can have this kind of shape for that part of the thumb. Okay. And like we talked about in class, the main mistake that people make with this volume is they make it too small. And the top of the thumb is a shape kind of like, you can use a shape kind of like that. And let's see, what is that kind of like? It is a triangle. The triangle is the sort of dominant element of that shape. However, the triangle has been bent like that and rounded like that. And then the next part of the thumb is a cylinder. This part of the thumb right there is like a cylinder, which inserts into this really big muscle, okay? And so just adding that element is a really big help. So if you're drawing a hand, we'll just keep on drawing. And this is, if we're going to be looking at the pinky side of this hand, okay? So the first thing that I'm going to do is establish the width of the palm of the hand. I mean, after establishing the basic flow of the gesture, the thumb side moving. Oh, I better switch. I'm sorry. I'm going to switch it because it's just so naturally going that direction. So here's the thumb as it inserts under. Here's the middle knuckle. There's the lead knuckle, okay? So the triangle back to that finger, and there's the middle finger coming out from there. And the next finger, I'm going to group those two. And then the pinky. Now, as we go through and start to address the various parts of the thumb, so another of the things that happened in class yesterday was I told you that the arm is essentially higher than the base of the hand, than the palm of the hand. The other thing about the arm as it approaches the hand is that the dominant shape of it is square, okay? So there's a square shape right there that the wrist comes down into the top of the palm of the hand. And what we will need to establish in here is we'll need to establish the 3D quality of the hand through here and the fingers this way. And when we go about establishing the 3D quality of the thumb, keep in mind that kind of this shape, okay? And it's lower, and so we'll be looking for a side plane. And then as we move into this part of the thumb, it will thin like that. the dominant shape of that, remember, was a kind of a bent triangle type shape. I kind of got that wrong. It's more like this. It's almost like a teardrop. You could almost think of it as kind of teardrop-like. Okay, and this will 3D, becomes 3D. And then here's another cool part about here's another cool part on the palm of the hand. There's a shape, and it's like, it goes from this knuckle, from right here to over here, and it's like a pad. It has a kind of an L shape to it, and it works its way. It's like it puffs out like this and sits in this part of the hand. And these guys zoom in and interact with it. And the palm of the hand really bends kind of right on that shape. Like it doesn't, if you're thinking, you can notice that the palm of your hand kind of collapses. I guess the truth of the matter is the bend is there, but as it bends there, this tends to fold that way, and this tends to fold that way. So when you're looking at a hand that's cupped, like let's take a hand shape and we'll think of it as cupped. So if you have the basic shape of the palm of your hand, right, and here's the thumb to here, and the fingers are emerging out this way, but let's say that this hand is cupped in on itself, like it's trying to hold something inside of it. What's going to happen is this is going to come upwards, right? You're going to see this whole section swell. In fact, I'm going to give it a side plane, and this section here is going to scoot towards it like this, and over here it's going to be all bunched towards it, and the bunching of all of this starts to create a feeling that your hand is cupped. And now the other thing that's going to be happening is these guys are because they're pushing from here, they're levering. So you've got the base of the hand is like this, and there are bones that go from here over. So those bones can't bend, but the finger bones come out, and they've got 3 parts. And they can bend at every joint. And so what happens is this finger joint bends this way. So we can find this finger joint bent to here and even further. And there was material that was in here that's gotten bunched. So the material that was in here, you'll see it like, and the material that was here had no place to go. So you end up with an effect of really, really bunched up skin on the inside. And so when we deal with the fingers, you end up, in order for this that we're drawing here to be the case, you need to have the fingers really foreshortened. And the fingers can always be thought of as cylinders, okay? And I've shortened them. I've taken the fingers off at the middle knuckle there. And we don't have to do that. I could, but I want to show you the palm of the hand, and I want to show it to you all bunched up, like looking like it's trying to, I could take and add the fingers up here, carry this through. But I'm drawing the cylinders that make them to show foreshortening. And then the last knuckle. it's starting to have the effect that I was looking for. Okay, so another thing about the top of the hand, about the top of the arm in general, is that the top of the arm, let's say we've got the top of our arm and we're going to cut down into the palm of the hand. We've got our wrist. Notice the rectangle, the triangle, and the fingers will go like that, like a cool triangle like that. So this shape, you can almost think of the top shapes as like this, and the bottom shapes like this. Okay? And the three related shapes on the knuckles go like that. 1, 2, 3. Anyway, hope that was good. Hope you drew along, and I look forward to seeing what you guys got from that. Have a good day.